right, welcome back everyone. This is Miss Osterish. Today we are going to be talking about numbers and number systems. So if I were to ask you to give all of the numbers between 1 and 10 inclusive, you would probably think about saying these numbers: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. However, there are more numbers between 1 and 10. There's 3.2, 9.1, 3/4, pi, which is 3.1415, square root of 15, that would be 3 point something as well, 6.2 repeating, 6.1, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. All of these numbers here also lie between 1 and 10. So the answers to many mathematical questions depends on a great deal on what number system we are working with. The set of included or allowable numbers is called the domain. So what this is really saying is that there are many types of numbers, and a lot of answers to mathematical questions depend on what number system with which we are working with. So in this scenario, a number system is a group of numbers that all have a mathematical characteristic or quality in common. So one number system could be even numbers. They all are able to be divided by 2. Odd numbers are all numbers that aren't able to be divided by 2. Prime numbers, it only has factors of 1 in itself. The opposite, composite, has more than 2 factors. And we could go on with triangular numbers, multiples of 7, perfect squares. It depends on what category or group that you're talking about with these numbers. So today we're going to be looking at the 7 main types of number systems that are commonly used in mathematics. So the first one we're going to talk about are counting numbers, or they're also known as natural numbers. Then we're going to look at whole numbers, integers, rational numbers, irrational numbers, real numbers, and imaginary numbers. So we're going to take a deeper look into each one of these here. The first one we're going to look at are counting and natural numbers. So these are the numbers that you first learn when you're very young. They occur naturally in our everyday lives, and we rarely need a description to be understood. So like I said, these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are the numbers we typically count by, but we can also call these natural numbers as well. So the next type of number we're going to look at are whole numbers. Now, whole numbers, there's really only one difference between whole numbers and the slide before here, the natural and counting numbers. With whole numbers, the number 0 is the only difference between the natural numbers and the whole numbers. So once children have started to learn their numbers, they start to understand that there's a concept of 0 or nothing. So 0 is the only thing that changes from natural numbers to whole numbers. All right, the next one we're going to look at are integers. This is actually going to be our whole first unit. So this is a key concept to get us started with our first unit here. Integers are all of the whole numbers and their opposites. Opposites is meaning that they have a negative part. So if you have this thermometer over here, 40 degrees has an opposite, which would be negative 40 degrees. So they're opposites of one another. Now 0 does not have an opposite. 0 is right in the middle of all of our integers. So not every negative number is an integer. Now this might seem a little confusing right now, but once I get to the next slide, you'll understand why not every negative number is an integer. So going back to this, the integer set, this is going to be any number and their opposite. As you can see on here, -5 has an opposite of +5, -4 and 4, and so on. So going back to this thermometer picture, the positive values are towards the top, whereas once we have 0 degrees in the middle, we switch to negative values at the bottom. Now notice how from 0, it doesn't go straight to -50 degrees. It goes to -10. So they're kind of on opposite sides of each other. Now, going back to the statement over here, not every negative number is an integer. So let's take a closer look at that with this slide on rational numbers. Now, rational numbers is going to be our second unit. So in the next 3 to 4 weeks, we'll start our rational numbers unit. A rational number is any number that can be written as a fraction. So that includes all whole numbers. So we can always say a whole number 5 is really just a fraction of 5 over 1, or you could say 10 over 2 as well. So whole numbers can be still written as fractions. This also includes mixed numbers. So if I have 3 and 1/2, I can change that mixed number to an improper fraction, such as 7/2. So this can also be written as a fraction, so this is a rational number as well. The next one, this includes all decimals that terminate. Terminate means end. So 5.2 that has an ending, which can also be converted to 5 and 2/10, which once again you could make into an improper fraction like we did above. The next one, this includes all decimals that repeat. So any number that can go on and on and on, but repeats that same number, that's the key concept, that it repeats, such as 0.3 repeating, that's the same thing as 1/3. So these are all rational numbers here. So rational numbers are any positive or negative number that can be written as a fraction. So as long as you can write it as a fraction, it will be a rational number. So this does include positive and negative. That's why on our last slide, when we looked at integers, I said not every negative number is necessarily an integer, because negative 1/2 is not an integer because it's actually a fraction. So our integers have to be whole numbers or their opposite. There's no integer that is a fraction or a decimal. All right, the next one is the opposite of a rational number, which is an irrational number. So irrational numbers are numbers that do not qualify as rational numbers, like I said. In reality, most numbers are irrational because if you have every single number possible out there, there's going to be a lot of decimals out there. But they are very rarely discussed because they are hard to write. So these numbers that are non-ending or non-repeating decimals. So the square root of a number that is not a perfect square will be irrational. So any number that looks like it's just repeating randomness basically is going to be an irrational number. Pi is probably the most famous irrational number. If you don't already know, pi is 3.141592, and then it continues on and on and on forever. So the thing to notice about this is that these are all decimals that go on and on and on and on, and there really is no pattern to them. It's just a random list of numbers in decimal form. So many irrational numbers come from square roots that are not perfect squares. We're not really going to be looking at square roots this year, so don't really worry about that. But if you were to take the square root of a number, you're probably going to get an irrational number. The last part here are real numbers and imaginary numbers. Basically, any number that you can think of is a real number. So in this unit, if I ask you, is it a real number? The answer is always going to be yes. We are not going to be talking about imaginary numbers this year. This is actually more of a high school concept that you will learn later. But I just want to give you the idea that there are imaginary numbers out there. Basically, this is the short version, but imaginary numbers are numbers that cannot be found on a number line. They don't really exist, but we can pretend they do in order to make other mathematical operations easier. So really, an imaginary number is just going to be the square root of a negative number. So this is just an idea to throw out there at you guys. You do not have to worry about imaginary numbers. We are not going to be discussing them. All you need to know is that every number we will look at this year will be a real number. So anything that we look at is a real number. So this is basically what we kind of just went through. And it's just in a more organized fashion. So any number that we're going to talk about this year is going to be a real number. So do not worry about those imaginary numbers. But once you decide that it is a real number, which we know everything we're going to look at this year is, you can decide if it's a rational number or an irrational number. So remember, rational numbers are numbers that can be written as fractions, whereas irrational numbers cannot be written as fractions. And then, so basically, you could be anything below if you're a rational number. So integers, those are those positive and negative numbers that do not have a fraction on them. Whole numbers are our counting numbers, or the natural numbers, but remember, whole numbers include 0. 0 is the only difference from our whole numbers to our natural numbers. But anything that's a rational number cannot be an irrational number. It's one or the other. So let's look at this number. We have -15. So it is going to be a real number. Like I said, any number we talk about this year will be a real number. Now we have to decide if it's a rational number or an irrational number. So can -15 be written as a fraction? Yes, it can. So we know it is a rational number, which means I can now cross off irrational number. So now we have to decide if it's an integer. Is it a positive or a negative whole number? Well, it is a negative whole number technically, so -15 is an integer. Now, whole numbers are numbers that are 0 and above. So if -15 is below 0, then it's not going to be a whole number. Okay, because it's a negative number, it cannot be a whole number. And since it's not a whole number, we know it's not a counting and natural number. So the best name that we can describe this number is an integer. So it's always going to be the last thing that you circle. That will be what you call it. Now, here's another tool. This is also another way to look at it, more in a circle form. Every number we look at is a real number this year. Then you could go into one of two circles, irrational numbers or rational numbers, and you can get more and more specific as you get to the inside of the circle. So for the number 0 here, like I said, everything we're doing this year is a real number. 0 can be written as a fraction, so I know it's going to be a rational number, which means it's not irrational. And then we have integers. Integers are positive and negative whole numbers, and 0 would be included in that. So yes, it is an integer. It is a whole number because 0 is included in the whole number set. However, it is not a counting or natural number. Remember, whole numbers include 0. Counting/natural do not include 0. So the most specific name we can call 0 is a whole number. All right, so if you want to, go ahead and pause the video and try these ones out on your own. I'm just going to go ahead and go through these really quickly. So -8 is going to be an integer. 3/5 is going to be a rational number. And then the square root of 15, if you were to type this in on a calculator, you would get a number that's like 3 point something. It's going to be a long decimal, so this is actually an irrational number. Okay? So make sure that you guys did okay with those. The last thing I want to mention to you before I leave is if I ask you why is it a blank or prove it is a blank, this is what you would want to know. So a real number is any number that can be found on a number line. So any number like fractions, positive, negative, even random numbers, any number that can be found on a number line. Like I said, everything is a real number this year. Rational numbers are numbers that can be written as fractions, and irrational numbers are numbers that cannot be written as fractions. Going from a rational number to an integer does not have a fractional or decimal part. So it can be positive or negative, it just does not have a fraction or a decimal. A whole number is any non-negative integer, so that means negative numbers are not included, but 0 and any positive integers are. And then the last one is counting and natural. Those are all positive integers, so anything that is a positive number is going to count there. All right, thank you so much for watching today. Have a good day, guys.